Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Good afternoon. Welcome to online class of Tesgao College. I am Qazi Shahriar bin Shams here with you to take today's lecture. So guys, we are continuing with the course Monetary and Fiscal Policy. So your course is Monetary and Fiscal Policy. And my today's lecture is on Cambridge quantity theory of money. I repeat, Cambridge quantity theory of money. So dear students, let's go to our today's journey. Guys, look here. Today our topic is Cambridge's quantity theory, and here is features of Cambridge's quantity theory. Features. The Cambridge economists, being dissatisfied with Fisher's analysis, explained this theory in a new way. That means, students, in my previous lecture, I took on the Fisher's quantity theory of money. And Fisher was an American economist. So his theory is very much popular in America, but there is debate with him with the economists of European countries. So another theory, that is Cambridge quantity theory, has formed. So the Cambridge economists, being dissatisfied with Fisher's analysis, explained this theory in a new way. The main economists supporting this group are Marshall, Pigou, Canaan, Hartle, Robertson, etc. That is the main economists of Cambridge. That is, it is the University of Cambridge in England. So the theory is named as Cambridge quantity theory. And the main economists was Marshall, Pigou, Canaan, Hartle, and Robertson. If Fisher's ideology is very popular in America, there is more recognition for Cambridge ideology in Europe. So Fisher was an American economist, so his theory is very much popular in America. It is very much natural. But in European countries, the Fisher's the Fisher's quantity theory is debatable. And for this reason, another quantity theory of money, that is Cambridge quantity theory of money, has evolved in European countries, and this is very much popular than that of Fisher's quantity theory of money. So Cambridge quantity theory of money is very much popular in European countries. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So number one, a part of income is kept in the liquid form. Students, very carefully look here that a part of income, that means a people who earns income, he or she keep of a portion of his or her income in the liquid form. That means the people don't invest or don't consume all the money. He or she kept some portion of his or her income in liquid form, that means in cash on hand for the future purpose. So look here, Professor Fisher has considered money only as a medium of exchange. So dear students, in my previous lecture, I mentioned that there are three motives. There are three motives for the demand of money. That is, one is transaction motive, one is precautionary motive, and another one is speculative motive. But in Fisher's quantity theory of money, only medium of exchange, only the transaction motive of demand of money is highlighted, and other two motives are ignored here. So Professor Fisher's quantity theory of money is not fulfilled. In other words, money is demanded to purchase goods and services, but the Cambridge economists don't agree with this viewpoint. That is, there are three motives for demand of money. You have learned from the previous lectures. But here, Fisher's quantity theory of money is only highlighted on the transaction motive. So Cambridge economists are not agreed with that viewpoint. They have the opinion that nobody knows what is hidden in future. That means future is very much uncertain. We don't know what will happen in the future. So students, so everybody wants to keep a part of his present income in the form of cash or liquid, so that if there is a sudden need, it can be fulfilled. This is the thought not only of individuals, but also commercial institutions and government. That means this motive is not only for the people, for the common people, but also for the commercial institutions and for the government. That means all sectors of the economy must highlight these three motives of demand of money. One motive is transaction motive, one motive is precautionary motive, and another one is speculative motive. So Cambridge economists, the University of Cambridge in England, they have highlighted all the motives of demand of money, and they have formed another equation. In the previous lecture, you have learned an equation of Fisher's quantity theory of money, and in today's lecture, you will find another equation of Cambridge equation, and that is called Cambridge equation. Okay. And now student, here look that it is the Marshall's equation. That means here is the new equation of Cambridge quantity theory of money. So Professor Marshall has given his equation in the following way. That is another way. M is equal to Ky plus K bar A. So here M is equal to total money in circulation and deposits with bank. That means M is called the supply of money. And in my previous lecture, you have learned that there is two components in the supply of money. One is the circulation among the people. That means money in hand of the common people. And another one is deposits with bank. And another one is deposits with bank. So there are two components of money supply. And in this equation, y means total monetary annual income. That means it is annual income in money terms. Monetary means in terms of money. That means the total annual income of whole people of a country is called total monetary annual income, and it is symbolized as Y. And K, the part of the income which people keep in liquid form. In earlier section, you have learned that the people don't consume all his or her money, but he or she keeps some of the portion in cash, in liquid form for the future purpose. And this is symbolized in this equation as capital K. And what is about K prime? The part of property which is kept in the form of money. That means it is the property of the people. So when a people sell his or her property, then it is turned into cash, and so then the people can contain some of that cash in hand, and that is symbolized as K prime. And A is equal to the total value of property. A is equal to total value of property in monetary term. So here we get M is equal to Ky plus K prime A. So here is two portion. One is Ky. It is the income of people, and K bar A. A means the value of the property of the people, and the people can sell his or her property and can turn into cash. Okay, so here is the equation. Dear students, look here. There are two parts of the above equations of Professor Marshall, income part and property part. So in the previous equation, there are two parts. One is income part and one is property part. Okay. Equation. Income part, however, both part of the equation may be theoretically correct, but it is seen in practice that people bring only their income into consumption. So in a simple language, we can mention that the property part will be eliminated because it is very much difficult. It is very much difficult to convert property into cash. It is not a so easy process. So this portion of the equation have to be eliminated, and only the annual income of the people must contain to this equation. So this equation has been amended. The equation had two parts, but the property part has eliminated because it is difficult to convert property into cash. So this part has eliminated, and now only one part is contained in this equation. So the new form of the equation here, look here that I will use the annotation. Look here that M is equal to KPY. So we have got the new form of the equation, the amended form of the equation as M is equal to KPY. So M is equal to supply of money, P is equal to price level, Y is equal to total real income, and K is equal to the part of real income which people want to keep with them in the form of cash. That means only one thing has been added here. This is the price level, P. P is equal to price level. So when the people consume his or her income, then the price level, this component will arise. So here, three component, one is K, one is P, and one is Y. K means the part of, so P is the price level, Y is the total income, and K is the part of total income that is contained as cash in hand. Okay. So this is the equation as M is equal to KPY. M is equal to supply of money, and with this supply of money, people consume with this money, and this is the demand of money. So at the left hand side of this equation, this is supply of money, and at the right hand side of the equation, this is the demand of money. Okay, dear students, we can go for the next slide. So number 2, the demand of money depends on the liquidity preference. So when the people demand for the money, it depends on the liquidity preference. That is how much money the people keep in cash, that is in the liquid form, and the demand of money is very much dependent on this attitude of the people. The attitude of the people to keep in liquid form of their income is very much important for the demand of money. Okay. Now, an individual wants to save a part of the amount obtained as his income. He can consume this saved money in many ways. He can invest money in fixed assets by purchasing land, building, etc. Or he can purchase shares or debentures of any company. They can also keep this sum deposited with banks. But all these investments are not called liquid. Fixed assets cannot be sold instantly to obtain cash. So, dear students, when a man, when a woman, when a lady, when a young lady, young man, or any person earns or get money from different sources, then he or she tends to invest or tends to consume or tends to expend his or her money in various ways. He can purchase fixed asset, like land, buildings, etc. He can purchase financial assets like shares, debentures, etc., bond, etc. So all these assets are not liquid. When he or she purchases fixed asset, this is not liquid. And in my earlier section, I have mentioned that fixed asset is very much difficult to convert into cash. But shares and debentures of financial assets, these are also difficult, but not like the fixed asset. You can sell shares and debentures within 2 or 3 days, or only within 2 or 3 hours in the stock exchange. So it is easy. So you can convert financial asset like shares and debentures into 100% liquid, that is in the cash, very much easily. So this is the preference. This is the liquidity preference. When you will convert your cash money into fixed asset, so there is absence. So there is totally absence of liquidity. But when you convert your cash into financial asset like share, debenture, then it will nearer to liquidity. It is nearer to liquidity. Fixed asset is very much far from the liquidity, but the financial asset is very much nearer to the liquidity. So this is called the liquidity preference. I think, dear students, you have got this point clearly. That is, liquidity preference means the attitudes of the people to spend his or her money in various forms. Okay, we may go to the next slide. Dear students, mark here that number 3, demand of money is influenced by many factors. That means demand of money is very much important in quantity theory of money. We are discussing about the quantity theory of money, and here it is Cambridge theory of money. So demand of money is very much important in this equation. So demand of money is influenced by many factors. Okay. So first factor is number 1, the period of obtaining income. That is the people who obtains his or her income, how many periods or how much time it will take to obtain the income. For different person, the income getting periods are different: daily, weekly, monthly, irregular, etc. That means many people incomes daily, many weekly, many monthly, and some people income irregularly. That means there are no regular income, like businessman. Businessman has have no regular income. Their income is very much irregular. So there is a time span. Look here that daily means only 1 day. Weekly means only 5, 6, or 7 days. Monthly means only 20 to 30 days. And irregular means no time period. So there is a variation in time period or time span to have the income to the people. So the demand of the people, demand of money for the people is influenced by this period of obtaining income. The people who incomes daily, he or she has very few money, and who income monthly, he or she has more money than of daily and weekly. So when so on the contrary, the less will be the period of income getting, the less will be demand of money. So when the time period will be lesser, the demand for the money will be lesser, because he or she will income less when he or she income daily. And the people who income monthly, his or her income amount will more than daily and weekly. So his or her demand for money will be more than that of daily and weekly. I think, dear students, you have got it clear, and we may go to the next slide. Students, number 2, distribution of national income. Every individual keeps some money with him in a country. When there is more equity in the distribution of national income, thus there is a higher demand of money in such countries. That is, distribution of national income among the people of a country is very much important. When the distribution of national income is very much decentralized among the people, there will be higher demand of money. That means there will be more money to many people. When distribution of national income will be decentralized, when disparity will decrease, when disparity of national income among the people will decrease, then more people will get more money, so they can demand, so they will demand more for money. But when distribution of national income will be only in a few hands, only in a few people, so more people will get only a few portion of the national income. So most of the people will demand very less, very low demand. So distribution of national income is very much important. The dear students, our class time is only 40 minutes, so we must prompt to proceed. Look here, number 3, the velocity of circulation of money. The velocity. The nature, the velocity means, what is velocity? Velocity means how much money will circulate, the times of circulation of money. In my previous lecture, I have mentioned about this velocity, so I will not repeat in this class. The nature of liquidity preference among people is also important for the demand of money. If people give preference to liquidity, it simply means they will use more lesser for exchange, due to which the demand of money will increase. That means when a person spend less amount of his or her income, then the demand of money will increase, because it will be in the liquid form. When people will spend less, that means the cash amount is bigger in hand, so demand of money is bigger here. And when a people or a person spend more, then the liquid portion of money will less, so demand of money will be less at that case. So the velocity of circulation of money is important to the demand of money. When the velocity will increase, the transaction will increase. When the people do more transaction, the velocity increase. The velocity means the times of transaction, how many times a money transact. How many times a money transact is called the velocity of circulation. So when people transact more, then the velocity will increase, so the demand of money will fall down. And when the velocity of circulation decrease, then the demand of money will increase, and vice versa. Okay, let's go to the next point. So the next point is number 4, population. It is an important part, it is an important element to affect the demand of money. So the population, the more will be population of a country, the more will be demand of money. On the other hand, the less will be population, the less will be demand of money. That means when a country has more population, then more people will demand for money, and in which countries the population is very much less, then a few people will demand for money. So population, so the number of population is important for the demand of money. Very much simple. When population increase, the demand of money will increase naturally. Very much easy thing, and it is natural. And when the population will decrease, the demand of money will also decrease. Okay, student, let's go to the next point. The next point is trade cycle, very much important. Trade cycle is very much important for economic growth of a country like Bangladesh, like a developing country like Bangladesh. So here, trade cycle. There comes the period of both recession and boom in the trade world. So one term is recession and one term is boom. So these two terms come by turn in world economy. So it is very much natural that a recession and boom comes by turn in the economy. So when during recession, as the profit in trade and industry receded means decrease, the traders start keeping cash with them and wait for positive opportunities instead of investing their money in trade. That means when the recession comes in the economy, then the people tends to spend less because they are very much anxious about the uncertain future of the economy. So they have to keep their income, their available fund in cash for the future purpose. So the demand of money is bigger here. Thus, every class of people keeps cash with them during depression, due to which the demand of money increases. So look here that thus every class of people keeps cash with them during depression. That means during depression, every class of people of the community, of a society, of a country keeps cash with them during depression, due to which the demand of money increases. So when people keeps more money in hand, then the demand of money will increase. On the contrary, on the other hand, the business class invests more and more money in trade and industries during the boom. So when the boom situation arises in the economy, then the business class invests more and more money in trade and industries, because there are a big opportunity to avail. So to avail this big opportunity, this profitable opportunity, the business persons and industrialists invest more and more money in trade and industries during the boom. So there are so the liquid portion of money, so the cash in hand is decreased. So the demand for money is also decreased here. Okay. I think it is not very difficult. Please take it easily. Don't be anxious about today's lecture. Please take it easily. Then you will get it clear. That means trade cycle has two cycle. One is recession and one is boom. So when recession or depression arise, then people, all types of people, all classes of people saves more. So when the people saves more, the demand of money increases. So the demand of money directly linked to the savings of money. Okay, the demand of money directly linked to the savings of money. So when the people saves more, the demand of money increases, and when the people saves less, the demand of money decreases. So during the depression of the economy, the people of all types, the people of all classes saves more and spend less. So the demand of money at this depression situation increases. And on the other hand, on the contrary, when the boom situation arised, then the people tends to spend more. The businessmen and other people, other class of people, they invest more to cope the different type of investment opportunities, different type of lucrative opportunities. To avail those lucrative opportunities, the people of all types, of all trades, spend more. So the liquidity of money decreases, and consequently the demand of money also decrease. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And I think this is our last slide. This is our last slide. So don't be worried about today's class. We are about to finish. So please keep patient. Only for a few minutes, only 3 or 4 minutes more. Okay. So the last point is number 6, banking habits. That is the banking attitude, the people's attitudes to banking. That is the banking habits of the common people. If banking habits develop among people, more and more payments take place through checks and drafts. In this situation, there is less demand of money. So dear students, look here, if banking habits develop among people, more and more payments take place through checks and drafts. So in this situation, there is less demand of money. So the portion of cash will decrease here. So when the liquid portion will decrease, the demand of money will also decrease. So the banking habits of people also affect the demand of money. So dear students, here is all for today's class.